All right, good morning and welcome to this last yearly edition of the Gentian Weekly Update. So today, as we begin to end the next, I guess, maybe 9 days anyway, we end 2021, and a lot of you are ready for it to end. We look forward to 2022, things that have become normal. The coronavirus, it's part of our life. It's how we operate. Social distancing, masks, adaptability, volatility in the market, distrust of the news. Oh, wait, that's always been there. But there's a lot of things going on. So it's really good to have you all here. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for coming to talk with us. I know a lot of you are away traveling, so you're not hearing what I'm saying right now, but that's even better because if I mess up, it's no big problem. So what I'd like to do today is we begin in gratitude. And my gratitude today is really about family and holidays. So with that, I'm going to send that off also to Zach.
Thank you, Chris. Me as well. Extremely grateful for this time of the year, for family, for just the feel around the holidays, but specifically for a reflection exercise that I started almost 4 years ago when I joined Gentian, which is at the end of the year, just kind of going through and recording all of the learning and either amazing things that happened through the year or just in general. And as I was going through recently with it, just extremely blessed for the life I have and to be part of the Gentian family with all of you and the team that we have. It's truly really special.
Outstanding. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. And one thing that I wanted to say is I'm going to turn over to Ken for his as well. I do know that Ken's favorite Christmas carol is Silent Night. Anyway, Ken, how about you?
Oh, I'll start singing that one, Chris.
I know you
hey, don't get me started, you know. So
with 4 kids, I know Silent Night's rare.
Yeah, exactly. Good morning, everybody. Great to be with you all as usual. My go big is really our team. It's Christmas, of course. I think that's the one in the front of all of us right now. But when you look at our team, you know, us as advisors, you know, we're blessed to have the team we have. You know, we get to show up and have a great meeting with you and figure out strategies that better your scenario. But really, there's so much work that gets done before we even show up to the meeting that a lot of you don't even see. And so it's really great to have a great team that does a lot of work for you that you don't even see, but we know it's happening. So just wanted to, you know, just bring that up and just say I'm thankful for the team. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas to our clients. It's been wonderful. So cheers to a great 2022.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that as well. So most importantly today, we're going to go to what's going on at Gentian. Today, covering housekeeping and the most important items is going to be Julie. So Julie, our longtime wonderful teammate, that why don't you share with us, impart with us what's important for the rest of this year.
Thank you so much, Chris. And although it says Ashley, I am Julie, so had a little Zoom trouble this morning. So again, thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. We're so glad that you are sharing the morning with us. So we appreciate your time. I have just a few housekeeping items to go over as we wrap up the year. Christmas is right around the corner, so we wish from our family to yours, we wish you a happy holiday. And just a reminder that our office will be closed on Friday, December 4th in observance of Christmas. We will reopen on December 27th at 8 o'clock. So if you have any questions or need help with anything, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us team members. Then Friday, December 31st, of course, is New Year's Eve. So we hope you can ring in the new year with your family and friends. And lastly, January 5th is our next bi-monthly update at 9 a.m. So please watch for the bulletin to register for that. We hope you can join us as we're very excited for the upcoming year. So with that, I wish you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we hope that you can look back in gratitude for 2021 and look forward in hope for 2022. So cheers to 2022, and I will send it back to Chris.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the kind words as well and getting us all in order, because we appreciate that and need it. So one thing I was looking at recently, you know, my daughters are getting a little bit older, but I was really looking at this recently. And do you know what the difference is between the regular alphabet and the Christmas alphabet? Noel. Anyway, you get it. So I thought that was a pretty good one. I enjoy that. There's a bunch of really good Christmas jokes, and I haven't been on for 3 weeks, so I'm going to tell another one as well. Do you know which reindeer likes to clean? Comet. Anyway, with that, some of the different things as we look forward, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of talk of inflation. There's a lot of worry out there as well. I've had more people call and say, is the market too high? More importantly, too, I've said, I've got too much cash. Should I be investing this money? What about taxes? Well, the BBB, the Build Back America Better, I think it's BBABB, I don't know the exact terminology, but it was tabled. So Congress did their job, which is right in the middle of one of the most important potential legislatures ever, and bills, if you will. They just said, and they took off until January 5th. So it'd be nice if we could all do that with projects without deadlines, but apparently that's what they did. So we're not going to know what happens with that really until next year. And that'll be the 5th of next year, I think, is when they reconvene. So hold them to it, make sure they punch their card in. If not, call your senators as well. Second thing as well, inflation, you're beginning to see prices increase. If you haven't seen them yet, they're coming. A lot of supplies are there. Wood prices have risen again. So there's a lot going on with inflation, and I think we'll touch base a bit on that as well. Historically, though, for perspective's sake, historically, and this is by Dr. Jeremy Siegel and us, I mean, so he listens to us, quite honestly, right? The best place to be in stocks, or the best place to be in an inflationary environment, is stocks. Stocks as a historical asset class are the category to be in to beat inflation long term. Not hard assets, not all these other ideas people come up with. They'll come up with crazy things because everybody wants to do something different. I'd say do what works. So at any rate, you'll notice your portfolios are fairly stock laden, stock heavy, and that's important because in this environment, we will need that. Some of the things as well, Omicron apparently has overtaken Delta, which is good. I think somebody had said recently, and I said, well, why is that good? Well, I said, because it's not as virulent, it's not as tough. And something like every person in America, they said, has now been exposed to coronavirus in some form. Some are getting it, some not. But they're finding in South Africa anyway, 2 to 4% hospitalization versus the initial virus was 20 to 40% hospitalization. So if that's any indication, great. We'll look forward to it, but I believe the data once I see it. So each country seems to have something different happen to it as well. But I know that's a lot of concern coming up as well. When you go to events, they're talking about full face mask again, returning back to some of that policy. But I think the president yesterday said he's not going to close school and he's not going to do a shutdown. That is not what's going to happen on a go forward basis. But they didn't really care for that, that result from before. So at any rate, remember, these are times to get through as well. We'll learn to adapt and move forward. There's a whole lot more going on with the market and the economy. Every time something goes on, inflation, this or that, the Fed announced that they're going to stop tapering buying bonds. So they're going to taper off their bond buying, which should raise rates a bit. And then next year, raise rates 3 times. When that news came out, of course, what did the market do? Went up 500 points. People are like, what? Rates are going up and it went up 500 points? Yes, it did. So anyway, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of details that go with that as well. But most importantly, what I want to do is I'm going to bring you, actually, Mike, why don't you give us a little bit of an idea what's been going on in the research category? Just give us a couple minutes on that, and then I'll go to Zach and I'll go to Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Chris. And you nailed it right on the head. I had a great conversation with one of our representatives yesterday talking about how the Fed is going to speed up how fast they're tapering. And it's going to cause some volatility in the markets. I mean, there's always going to be uncertainty, and
Wait,
you know,
Mike,
that's
Mike, hold on. Wait. So they're going to speed up tapering. So is that going to be like, I'm going to hurry up to stop? I don't understand.
That's exactly what that means. Thank you, Chris. So they're going to hurry up to stop tapering,
I like it.
and which is going to cause some volatility in the markets. But what that does do is it gives an opportunity for active management to do well. They see it being a stock picking market, and there will be opportunity for some of those managers. And so that's something to honestly look forward to. And truly, the Fed doing this shows that they believe in our economy and that the economy is doing well. So there will be volatility, but you know, the overall outlook looks pretty bright for the economy right now.
Awesome. That's super cool. I know there's a bunch of research you've done on, I appreciate that as well. Thanks for bringing that highlight as well to us, Mike. How about Zach? How about yourself? What's going on right now in the world of numbers? And can you give us some predictions so we can all know what to do in 2022? I know that's.
Yeah, exactly. That was the main purpose of what I have here for you today. But as you guys mentioned, volatility, it reminded me of something we've talked about in the past, and volatility is both ways, right? Volatility is not just a negative thing. That's kind of our mindset and our bias going in, that when we think volatile, we think downward, but it also is on the other side. And sometimes over history, and especially recently, the best days follow the worst days. And we have a great chart in the back of some of your review packets of the cost of missing the best days. And it just goes to show to never try to time or to assume what's coming next, and to just stay invested according to your goals. But if we're looking at the different markets, with that volatility, a lot of people think that the markets have been down, especially over the last month, but that's not necessarily the case across the different asset classes. If we're looking at the S&P 500 for year to date, it's up 23.78, so roughly 2% since the start of December. The Dow Jones, 15.96, almost 16%, which is 3% up since the 1st of December. The NASDAQ, 19.03%. Again, that's a little bit heavier weighted towards technology. And that one has been more volatile both ways, up and down. And that one's actually 1.5% down since the 1st of December. The Russell 2000, which tracks small cap, small size companies, 11.55%, which is almost the same since the start of the month. On the growth portion, kind of a main talking point for this entire year is the disparity between growth and value on the small cap side of things. And on the growth side, 0.87% year to date, which is down 1% since the start of December, but it was up over 3% yesterday. So just goes to show on the short term, some of these can move very quickly, especially on the small size companies. Value is still up 23.41% or 2% since the start of December. International 3% on the year, or 2.2% since the start of the month. And emerging markets, been a main talking point for us for most of the year, is down 6.30 on the year, or 2% since the start of December. That kind of sparked a recent article that we saw, and a poll by the Bank of America. They kind of polled the top institutional managers in the country across different industries, and 35% of them, or the biggest percentage of the asset classes that they looked at, think emerging markets is the best opportunity in 2022. It may not, but that's why we continue to own it. And the beautiful thing about rebalancing is that if we were rebalancing really any time throughout this year, would have been selling off of the large cap growth portion, the one that's probably closest to the S&P 500, and buying more of emerging markets. So we'll see if that holds true for 2022. On the interest rate side of things, and the treasury yield really have remained unchanged since the start of the month. And this morning was just on bank rate because we had recent questions of what CDs are currently yielding. The best CDs 1 year range from 0.55 to 0.70, best 2 year 0.70, best 3 year 0.8, best 5 year 1.0. So if we're looking to find yield on outside cash, very difficult to do over the long term, and probably better to just hold on to that cash to see what the tapering that Chris and Mike has an effect on those, or just stick to a 1 year time frame. Always try to bring just a couple of recent facts, and I'll get it back to Chris and Ken. But inflation, as Chris mentioned, has been a very interesting topic. It was up 1.4% for 2020, and for the decade from 2010 to 2020 was up just 1.8% per year, which was the lowest decade since the 1930s. So just extremely interesting to look at. And one thing that the media does extremely well with us is they bring us all of these different research data points, and why this, why that, and a recent one recently is the estimating the unemployment rate and our jobless rate according to the Department of Labor. And the government surveys 60,000 households each month in order to estimate the unemployment of 125 million households. So really, they're only collecting data on 1 out of every almost 2,100 households. So just adds a little perspective of what we're looking at, and to maintain long-term perspective with some of those as well.
Hey, Zach, I've got a question for you. Why is everyone so thirsty at the North Pole?
Great question. I'm not sure.
Because there's no well. Again, it's the same joke with a different punchline, or different joke, same punchline. But I thought that was stupid funny again, so I apologize. So it sounds like to me you're predicting that we should sell everything we have and put it all in emerging markets next year.
Exactly right.
Yeah, awesome, good. Well, that is so not true, but I just wanted to say if we have an opportunity, we think it's in that category. So rebalancing automatically will put money into emerging markets, and we hope that it does mean reversion. That's what he was attempting to say. Mean reversion, meaning it's going to revert to its normal valuation. So at any rate, thank you very much, Zach. I appreciate that as well. So Ken, it's your turn. But one thing I did before, I watched The Grinch last night, And what's kind of interesting, if you watch all the extra little pieces of the Grinch, it's hilarious. You can learn a ton of stuff. They had this whole biography about him. And I learned, what is the Grinch's least favorite band? The Who. Anyway, with that, I'm going to send it over to you.
I thought you were going to say that I was starring in that movie for a second.
No.
Just joking around. I'm going to keep it pretty light today, everybody, in the light of holidays here right now. So the one thing, you know, and we piggyback into this idea of inflation, we piggyback into this idea of CD rates. You know, we're getting some questions about I bonds that are out there, which are, you know, inflationary bonds that are offered by the federal government. And right now, I mean, it's an attractive number that is being put out, 7.12% annualized, according to the Treasury online. And so it's a big number. People are seeing it. And during inflationary times like this, they can be valuable, but there's a lot of holding rules. There's time frame requirements. You only can buy so much of them. They actually pay 0%, but because of inflation, they're actually paying something right now. So historically, not a great investment at all for a cash alternative, if you will. But because of inflation, they are yielding a little more than what they have been in the past. So not saying it's right for your situation, but we're definitely hearing it, and in certain situations it is right. So let's have the conversation to see if it makes sense for some cash that you have on the sidelines that you're trying to eke out a little more as far as your rate of return goes. And we certainly can help you, you know, weigh out the pros and cons to see if it makes sense. So just a real quick one, you know, capital gains, those who have personal accounts or trust accounts, you know, this year has been a capital gain distribution year. It's not necessarily the selling we're doing inside of your account. It's more about the portfolio manager who bought a stock 3 or 4 years ago that sold it this year. And then some of those stocks have tons of gains, as you know, because the markets have been pretty good, you know, but by nature of mutual funds, they have to push those off to investors like you and us. And so just be aware of the capital gains. It's not an IRA situation. IRAs, they do happen in IRAs, but because of the IRA and the tax deferral nature, you don't really notice them too much. But in personal accounts, we do. So just be aware of that this year. I do have to say that I got to say, you know, most of all of you are on the nice list in 2021. You guys have been fantastic to us. We thank you for that. There's a couple on the naughty list. You know who you are. But again, most of you are on the nice list. And we thank you for that you being courteous to us and the team and just sharing your stories. I know exactly where to travel. I know all about RVing now this year. And also, you know, just as far as caregiving, a lot of you are caregivers at this point in time and caring for either younger or older right now. So thank you for sharing your stories with us. Our goal and my goal is to really just keep us on the planning route, making sure that we're doing the proper planning, making sure we have the proper structure heading into 2022 with you guys. So let's keep talking about anything that's big or small on your mind. We're here for you. I'm looking forward to our meetings next year as well. Had a great year this year. And I'm going to keep encouraging you all to keep exploring your wanderer list. You know, a lot of people say it's the bucket list, and we kind of flip the terminology to the wanderer list. I'm going to keep encouraging you to do that. The world's opening up a little more as we're seeing. One of our great teammates, Lisa's back in her home country of England right now. So travel is a little more there if you want it. But again, we're going to keep encouraging you to keep exploring what's important to you in life. You keep exploring to you how to better your life and your families and people around you. So with that being said, I'll pass it over to Chris. But happy holidays, Merry Christmas, you guys. Thanks for allowing us to be on this journey with you. We love all of you, and we look forward to a great 2022.
Hey, Ken, you know, it's said that the only way to know who's on the naughty list is to be on the naughty list yourself.
No, I'm a pro at that.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying on that one anyway. So watch out. You might get a lump of coal. It's the one
list I make every year.
That's good stuff. Well, in the fact that we're keeping it light, I want to say we are talking a lot about money, and we know money is simply a resource. But one thing I want to say is, why, and this is probably, why does Grinch really, is he so fond of the reindeer? Because every buck is dear to him. It'll take a little bit. I know there's little jokes he said, but anyway, you might get a little bit of joke of fatigue, but I think that's kind of fun. So something we talked about in a couple of different items, and actually I want to share 2 experiences first. For anybody who's been on the book club, thank you. It's been a wonderful time. I see a few of you who are on the call today. It's been wonderful talking about what's called contempt and how we can actually diffuse contempt. So I sent out a letter to those who are on the book club called Dear or Greetings, fellow contempt abaters. We're attempting to abate contempt in America, which is a huge thing. So I ask a question. Have you ever met somebody who you just don't get along with? got different ideas, but you still have to see them every Thanksgiving and Christmas. So you're just about to see them. So one of the things is have patience. Work on that other person's idea. If they have some crazy idea, don't let it, don't let them drive your bus. Don't let them get you angry or frustrated. Just listen and know that it's different. I think the key is you're going to continue to see them most every holiday. You want to have a good relationship. There's a statistic that says 1 in 6 people have stopped talking to a family member due to politics. Now, this was pre-COVID. So if you want to add COVID and politics in there, it might be more like 1 in 4. At any rate, just be careful, be sensitive to people out there. Listen, here's the one thing I'm going to tell you. Everybody you meet is struggling with some major item. You just don't know what it is. Treat them with care. So for those of you on the book club with Love Your Enemies, it's a fantastic book. If you've read the book and couldn't make the book club, that's great as well. We've had a wonderful time exploring this over the last 6 or 8 weeks, and we're going to continue to do so when we find a book. And this is really on the, remember, Gentian is plan it, live it, give it. So we're talking about the live it. We understand that planning it is the base that we often meet with, but we live this with you for many, many years. We want to help you optimize your life and have fun. So that's one of the big portions of what we do. The second thing is for those of you yesterday who were on the women's tea with Lisa, who did the actual tea from with her mother from England in her hometown, I think of Sculthorpe. She had a wonderful time. They had everybody dressed up like, the British Queen. It was just fantastic. I saw some of the pictures of it. That was fun. I encourage you, if you have a chance to join some of those groups, the people who are on it really give us great feedback. And it's a great community of people to talk to. I'm going to say this, it's not as comfortable when you first start because you're new, right? But once you're in it, it's one of those things you can look forward to. So anyway, I've seen that in several cases. Thank you tremendously for joining those and being part of our community. We really enjoy that part of what it is we do. So I'd say the biggest thing here when you're looking through this year, the greatest job that I have, the greatest thing that I have to conquer in 2022, just like 2021, you know what it is? Me. My own fears, my own prejudices, my own inability to listen, my ability to talk too much, my ability to tell way too many jokes, to think I'm funnier than I really am, to enter the year with the humility of knowing that we are simply here to represent you as this award-winning practice, not us. There's no glory for us. It's really, we shine the glory back to you. You guys have made this a phenomenal practice. As Ken says it, as we talk amongst our team, we are blessed, we know it, and it's because of you. So I really want to make sure you understand that. There's awards coming in 2022, I'm sure. Congratulations on those for you already. I know we have to put our name on them, but as you see that, make sure as you look at the tiny fine print, every one of your names is what makes up the name that goes on that award, not ours. So we want to thank you tremendously for that. And what's really interesting too is we want to thank you tremendously for the introductions. We still are open for business. We've created a team so that we can be. For many of you, we've helped your family. We're writing a piece in 2022 to make your entire family great investors just like yourself. So we want to give you some of the timeless pieces that go with that. So we're working on a great timeless piece for you in that as well. 2022 as well, or 2021 met with many great introductions from you. And the beautiful thing about that for us is we get to spend 100% our time on you, not out there advertising, billboarding, putting out things about, hey, we want new clients. We appreciate that. We also appreciate the fact that you screen them. If you've got a really good friend, but you're not really that fond of them, but they got a bunch of money and they're kind of mean, thank you for screening them out. We really do appreciate that because we're going to spend 30 plus years with them and our whole team says thank you. So that's another one as well. One thing I wanted to do too, we really made a lot of progress this year in just our brand and who we are and showing you who we are. Gentian's plan it, live it, give it, the 3 monikers, if you will, plus the 4th one, which is inherit it, because a lot of you are really just a base for showing you who we are. You've seen our team, Jenny, our team also with Ashley has really come up with some phenomenal, the newsletter has been fantastic. You've seen the transformation of that, the representation of this, and hopefully you are taking that and using it. I think it's one of those things that we really, really, really appreciate. And I think that it kind of seems like it slides under the radar sometimes, but I tell you what, it's being noticed. One thing I want to do as well is thank all of you who attend this regularly. So when we did this earlier, starting in 2020, It was during COVID because we every week wanted to tell you, hey, we have no idea what's going on, but we want to be on here and tell you we have no idea what's going on. Hold true to the market. Here's what I say. We don't know exactly what's happening, but we know what we'll do during it. So the biggest thing to remember, if you anticipate, if everybody's talking about something that may happen, everybody knows it, it's probably not going to be the big coup de grace and the big correction for the market. What the market really most causes corrections is things you don't know. So you tell me the things that you don't know, and that's probably what's going to cause the market correction. Think about that. Wait, if I say it, then I know it. And see, you see that. There's some logic going on there as well. So as we look again to 2022, there's going to be corrections, there's going to be volatility, there's going to be things we don't know. The things we don't know will be the things we watch out for, but that's also what we prepared for. We look forward to the journey in 2022 with you. We look forward to you getting through safe holiday seasons, getting through this season of sickness, which isn't just coronavirus, but it's also a lot of sinusitis, a lot of rhinovirus, a lot of colds. There's things that we haven't been exposed to in a long time that your body has to react to. So again, stay careful, stay strong, get sleep. Do all the things that you need to do to stay healthy. We really appreciate that. And I don't mean to be talking on a soapbox or standing up for this, but we really do appreciate you taking care of your health, because we want to see you again. And we love seeing you in person for those who can. And we also appreciate those who only want to do Zoom right now as well. With that, I want to close the 2022, if you will, with just a maybe, well, actually, I'm not sure you want it, but I think I have another joke. I think it's a pretty good one. What goes oh, oh, oh? Santa walking backwards. So anyway, that's a super good one for your little kids. I think that's a fun. Well, let me tell you one funny thing. So my name is Chris, quite obviously. One of my friend's kids was driving by our office and saw all the lights and stuff like that. And she goes, you know who that is? That's Chris. And she goes, Chris. The 6-year-old son was sitting around looking, goes, Christmas? And she says, yeah, that's Christmas. And it's absolutely hilarious. So now her son calls me Christmas, which is quite funny. He was confused, but I guess that's one of the funny things if we have for 2021, 2022. But with that, from our whole team, from our entire team, from Ken, myself, Mike, from Peter, from Ashley, from the entire team, thank you tremendously for a wonderful 2021. We really look forward to serving you in 2022. We look forward to a great year despite whatever happens. So with that, thank you. Happy 2021, and we look forward to seeing you next year.